Hello, my name is Arthur. I am trying to bring out information which I have uncovered in my personal research about the history, the true history of the state of Texas. This information is very personal to me as my family came here hundreds of years ago. 400 years ago, they came to this continent from Spain, previously from the Canary Islands, first Spain, then Cuba. First Spain, then the Canary Islands, then Cuba, and then Mexico, then up into Texas about 1716. I have been wanting to start a channel called Crypto News or something of that, and I think that's what we're going to go with. Laying out what I have found and the information that no one's talking about. This information is so important that obviously the state of Texas thought it was important enough to pass a bill called HB 724, trying to help reconfigure the rights of the people who had this land originally. The original land grants from the Crown of Spain, Mexico, and early Republic of Texas. There was lots of criminal activity that happened between the governments of Spain and Mexico and Texas. Not to mention the crimes against the humanity here by my own ancestors as well as other people who came here to settle. There are different stories on what happened and different accounts, and I'm trying to get down to the bottom of who actually owns what and why that there are still people, thousands of people who own the land legally and are not the ones possessing it today. So this is what I'm going to try to go into. These are the things that I'm going to try to uncover as I develop this channel. I don't have any experience in making videos or editing or anything of that, but I'm trying to learn enough to be able to bring you this information. One thing I want to point off, the first video I think I want to make is about the first coins that were ever made in the state of Texas. I am of Hispanic heritage, but I have lost the ability to speak Spanish as well as I've lost the dialect. In case you're wondering, I am of half Spanish origin. Actually, it's Sephardic Jew mainly, which is Spanish Jew, and these are things I'm going to talk about later on in other videos. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today is basically this coin here called a JAG, J-A-G, which stands for Jose Antonio de la Garza. I probably butchered that, but please bear with me here. It was made in 1817 by Manuel Barrera originally, and then in 1818 by Jose Antonio de la Garza, which I am a descendant of. I don't know for sure if it's this Jose Antonio de la Garza. There are a few different Jose Antonio de la Garzas throughout history in Texas. They're related to each other. They're cousins. They're sons and fathers. So I'm not exactly sure, for 100% sure, if this is my ancestor that printed these coins. But I am about 99% sure. As far as I can tell, he was the father of Carlos de la Garza, who is a well-known figure in Texas history. If you look up Carlos de la Garza, he is a very well-known figure. Not as much as you would think he would be for what he has done and what he did for this country and for what he did for the state of Texas. But his father was Jose Antonio de la Garza, and his father-in-law, Jose Antonio de la Garza's father-in-law was Manuel Barrera, who got control of the present-day Goliad and Refugio missions. They were in ownership of those missions. They had a lot of land taken away from them, and we'll go into that in further videos. We're going to get into this big land grant here, as well as other land grants, and try to uncover who actually should own this land today. I've got lots of maps. I'm a landman. I do research about land for a living, and so I've always known, and I've always been told that my family came here, conquered these lands, and still presently own a great deal of it. It's just been taken from us legally and illegally in different parts of it. So we would like to get this information out, and back to the coin here. I'm divagating. Please excuse me here. Okay, so again, these coins. I wanted to talk about this. No one ever talks about this in Texas history. A lot of people think the Star of Texas came from a flag of a lady who supposedly made it, and this could be partially true. But the origins of this star go way farther back, and we're going to get into this in later videos about the Crypto Jew aspect of Texas and this star. It actually has Jewish roots, as well as these Spanish peoples actually were Crypto Jews. They're Sephardic Jews, and I'm going to get into that. Not all of them knew that, but the ones that were in power definitely did. And we will get into that later on. I've got a lot of information. I've got about 3 years of information that I'd like to get out, and I've got to get compiled in a way we can present it. I've done a lot of research about this topic, and I'd like to get the truth to be known in these subjects. And so back to the coin. Back to the coins. Okay, got another picture of it here. I want to bring this one up. These were the first coins ever printed in Texas. They found about 60 of them in San Antonio in the former De La Garza house. It was a whole city block, and I can prove all of this. And later on, I will get into more in-depth videos with proof, and I'll have all the documents. I've got all the documents, and we'll get into very, very in-depth videos. This is my first video. I'm just trying to get one out there, trying to get my first video out there, just kind of get y'all aware of the information that I have and what we plan to do with it and where we plan to go with it. But I kind of wanted to make my first video about this coin just to give you all an idea about the information that I have. It's very important, and it's groundbreaking. No one knows about it. No one's talking about it. Well, I wouldn't say no one knows about it. There are not enough people that know about it. There are enough people that know about it to get the information out there, but everyone should know. It should be taught in books. Texas history should be rewritten, and I plan to do so with this information that I have uncovered. But again, so let's get back to this coin here. These were the first coins ever printed in Texas by my ancestors. They had the first banks. They found these, the only group of these coins that they know of to exist were about 60 of them, and they were destroying the De La Garza house, which was an entire city block. It was like a fortress. In case you don't know about the De La Garzas, they were Spanish descendants, Sephardic Jews that came here, colonized these lands of Texas and Mexico and a lot of other places, and were very powerful people, and were basically empathized by forces that came into Texas slightly after this time period, during this time period as well. And so they found these coins. They were in this huge mansion in San Antonio. They're destroying the mansion because they got rid of a lot of evidence about these families and their power. They didn't want people to know the truth, so they had to destroy it. So they were destroying the house, and when they were destroying the house, they found these coins. And they're the only coins known to exist of these today. There was about 8,000 of them minted, and there's only about a few hundred maybe that exist at the most today. I'm told 60. From what the information that I've found. So, very interesting. A lot of people don't know. There's a couple of hundred of documentable history before the widely known Texas history, and we plan to uncover this information. We plan to document this information, and we plan to get down to the truth of real Texas history and try to reappropriate the lands that are owned by these heirs today, which I am one of them, and that is the intention. I've got some videos I'd like to show y'all, and some news clippings later on as well. This is my family tree right here I'm going over. It's not completely up to date, but I wanted to show y'all Don Carlos de la Garza is a more widely known figure here in Texas, and Jose Antonio, whose name, the initials you saw on the coin, that was his dad. Anyway, I'm going to try to get this first video out and just, kind of get some practice at this, and hopefully y'all will enjoy the information I have, be interested in it, and spread it and share it, and help me uncover the mystery of what is Texas history. Thank you. Bye-bye.